Hello and welcome to a chip off the old block toys. This is Jeff, and today we are continuing to work on the Eiffel Tower set that was released on Black Friday. That's Lego set 10307. And well, we have done bags 1 through 39, and that has given us the base and then the first observation platform. It's not quite done yet, but we're getting there. All right, we're going to try to get through as many bags as we can today. And in addition, we've got a special guest or two coming on tonight. And they are at work right now, so they'll be on a little bit later. I did confirm. So that's great. I hope it all works out. And let's see. Let's start off with these little guys. I did have time to lay out some pieces. So hopefully this goes just a wee bit faster than usual. And, well, we got to kick this off with a joke because I got to get me in the Christmas spirit. So the joke is, what do you call an elf that's wearing earmuffs? Well, the answer is anything you like. He can't hear you. All right, that was kind of bad. All right. So tomorrow's my big appointment. With the spine surgeon. I imagine all he's going to do is say, yep, I've seen you before. Okay. Oh, you're having problems again? All right, let's do an MRI. That's probably what's going to happen. And I'm okay with that. That's pretty much what I expect. I don't expect myself to throw pieces around like I just did. But, hey, hey, Blake, how's it going? It's going pretty well for me. How about you, sir? We are on bag number 40 of the Eiffel Tower. But yeah, I imagine that the spine surgeon is just going to say get an MRI. And like I said, I'm okay with that. So it's going well. What Lego sets have you built lately? Or what are you working on? We finally got a little bit of break in the snow today. And my neighbor next door, who's got a tractor, was nice enough to stop by and kind of use the scoop to take care of the driveway for me. And I always appreciate him for doing that. He don't have to do that. He's just a nice guy. Well, guys, I'm going to have to get up because I practically threw that piece. Oh, yep, there it is. So we're going to have Brad and I think it was Joe. Is the train and crane guy. That's their channel. They're going to be on here a little bit later. But yeah, I'm excited to get this set done. Like I said, this is part of a more collaborative effort in that this is going to be in the show at Thanksgiving Point next month. And that's kind of important to me because I want to show the different versions of this. So I've got the other versions. I've got the large one over there, and that'll be in the show, as well as I ordered the two smaller architecture ones. One's the skyline of Paris, and the other one is just the architecture one. So you've got a little bit of Paris, and it's about this tall, about a foot. And you got the other one's about a foot tall, and it's the same thing. But it doesn't have the skyline. It's just the tower itself. And one of those is supposed to be here tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. That'll be a quick build. And I'm going to do a video that compares them. And that video is going to have a QR code on the plexiglass that people can click on that and see my channel and see the video if they like. kind of the idea. And boy, somebody's not happy outside. One of the neighbor kids is yelling. Anyway, this is country living out here at its finest, let me tell you. Okay. So we've got these 4 pieces done. I think it's time to attach them. Hello, Mrs. Chip. How you doing tonight? It's good to see you. And actually, I'll be seeing Mrs. Chip here in a little over a week. I'll be going out to her area to see her. And let's see. Let's make sure we get this on correctly. Okay. And I've got another joke coming. Oh, I got 2 of them on here. Hello, Greg. How you doing? How was your day, Greg? All right, the next Christmas joke is... Oh, boy. That's dumb. Where does Santa keep all of his money? And the answer is at the local snowbank. I didn't say these were good jokes. I only said these were jokes. All right, so we got 12 of these ones to do, so very repetitious here. Yeah, I think, well, me and Mrs. Chip will be driving back here, so we got to bring her car back because don't want it sitting for a year and go bad. I mean, not only will all the seals go bad, but bad gas, tires. You can really ruin a car by letting it sit that long for a year. So, yeah, we're not going to do that. The car's bought and paid for, and that was hard-earned money that bought and paid for that car, so it needs to be protected and taken care of. So, anyway. Yep, this is a bunch of repetition here, and that's just how it goes with this set. I went to work tired as, yeah. Did you stay up late having fun? Were you partying? No, I'm just kidding. No. I've done that too, Greg, and it always makes for a long day when you're tired as you know what. Well, it's almost a week from today will be the shortest day of the year, which also means that the days will start getting longer again. And I am excited for that. Because right now, it's really hard for me to be in the shop. It's cold. And like right now, when I start this live stream, it's already almost dark out there. So it kind of doesn't make sense for me to be out there. Especially with the lighting issue in there. And I can't get the lights done until I get the walls done and the windows sealed. And, you know, I was kind of trying to keep this from everybody because I was hoping for a better resolution. But the roofing company that came out and fixed the roof was supposed to come out and fix the walls and the roof to my house. And, well, sad to say, they required half the money down. I gave it to them, and they never showed up, and they never returned my money. So now I'm in a fix because I still got a leaky roof. I still have a leaky wall. And I don't have the money to fix it right now. And I'm going to give them a little while longer. Not much, a couple more days. And if I don't see that money, like he promised he'd return it, I'm going to do a video. And I'm going to let you guys know the name of that company. So, I'd like to do the electrical in the shop right now, but with it being wet, I can't do that. And somebody say, Mayo, we sure did. All right, guys, that was bag number 40. So let's do bag number 41. And also, we're moving on to book 3, which is also box number 3, the last box. And Greg, have I seen coyotes? No, I have not actually seen them, but I have heard them in the distance. And my neighbor next door said he's lived here like 8 years, 9 years, and he shot a few dead. So they do exist around here. If you want to look at it that way, I'm been fortunate enough not to have to deal with them directly. All right, Mayo. That's a good accomplishment. He says, I'm a free man now because of all my university's work is done for a year. Well, that's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Let me see. Let me get my phone real quick. Okay. All right. So, Mayo, if you got a few minutes, and if you don't, that's okay too. But I'm going to send you let me send you this invite here. Ooh, they didn't make a link. Oh, yeah. Yes, it did. All right. Let me... All right. Got that. Oh, that didn't do me very well. I beat Elden Ring. All right. So what's the ending of that? That my son plays those kinds of games, and I don't see anything wrong with them. I mean, I just don't have time to do it, so I don't. I used to be really big into Civilization. I played all the way to Civilization 6, and I don't think they've come out with any new versions of it. I think they've just done expansion packs and that kind of thing. But nah, I'm not really into it anymore. I'm always working on something Lego related these days. And I didn't realize you can't see what I'm doing. Let me do that real quick. All right, look familiar? Yep, we're building some of the tower legs again. And this is the good old 1x5 plate that's, I'd say it's a little over a year old now. And do you guys like, there's Mayo. All right, let him in. Hey, welcome there, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. I literally just woke up.
All right. So is part of Australia in the same time zone as South Korea? Just didn't know if you knew or not. So how's your day been, Mayo?
Sorry, I had myself on mute. I just looked yesterday, and Perth, which is the capital of Western Australia, is in the same time zone as Beijing. That's what I do know. What I don't know is if any is in the same time zone as Korea. I'm guessing Korea is either 1 hour or 2 hours ahead of the time zone that China uses. So if that's the case, Korea is probably somewhere in between my time zone and Perth's time zone.
Okay. Well, and also let you know tonight. I asked Brad and Joe. They're from the train. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna mess this up. The Crane and Train Guy channel, a Lego channel. They just started out maybe about 2 months ago, and they'll be on here, and I'll interview them. And you're welcome to ask any questions you like too.
Oh,
Um,
fantastic.
and well, I invited them on my channel because they are members of. Well, I don't know about Joe, but I know Brad is a member of my lug. So I figured I'd help a fellow lug member out. And he's got a really, I don't want to ruin it, but he does have this really cool thing that he built out of Lego, and I hope he shows it tonight. So.
And also, you do know that as a member of the live stream gang, you can send out invitations to your live streams whenever you want.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Okay. All right, I should do that because I would like, some of the. Well, actually, there's nobody on there I wouldn't like on my channel. I was kind of bummed out when I heard that Yeti's taking a break this month, but I understand.
Yeah, he often. Well, I'll say that's not the first time he's done that.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, he's got a young family, and it can be hectic. I know that during the time that my kids were at home, there's no way I could have done a YouTube channel. Especially with my older daughter's issues that she had, it would have been too much. So completely respect that. So you say you're done for the year, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. How does that feel, man?
It feels a sigh of relief is what it feels like.
All right.
Now I just play the waiting game.
And what are you waiting on now?
Waiting to see if I have a GPA of 5.0 or above, so I know whether I'm going to do my honours degree or my master's degree next year.
Okay. Now, I mean, I'm sorry. I'll admit right now, I'm ignorant of this. So, what would be the difference? Like, I mean, I imagine the honors one's harder than the other one.
No, it's not actually. So, an honours degree is an extension of a bachelor's degree, and then a master's degree is, I don't know how to explain it. It's a more, I guess, practical. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but it's not the same. It's not the same as your degree, so it can't be an extension. It's a little bit more difficult to explain.
Okay. Well, Brickable Cow says moo, and he says here for a second, have a good stream. And moo back at you, Cow, and thanks for joining us, even if it is just for a few minutes. I suppose you know who Brickable Cow is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy. He always cracks me up. Well, sweet. I wish you the best in your school endeavors. In fact, I mean, my job's not really hasn't been secure for a while. And if it ever does go south and I'm no longer there, I'm considering going back to school. Because I've been doing IT work for several years now, but I have no certifications. So I would like to get the certifications behind it. That way it's much easier to go to a job and say, well, not only have I been doing it for several years, but here's my credentials behind it.
Yeah, I know a few Lego online YouTube community members who have gone back to university for whatever reason. And my guess as to the reason why is because they've stumbled in their careers.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't admit this out loud, but I actually would welcome a different job right now. The place I've been working for, the conditions there have just, for whatever reason, it's gone to crap over the last several years, and I just rather not deal with it anymore and have a different job. But on the same hand, I'm not gunning to get fired or anything, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because I'd rather spend the money through my student debt to pay for extra education in grad school to turn my regular degree into an honors degree, and then have a master's degree on top of my honors degree, just to make myself stand out from all of the other kids coming out of college that just have a regular degree and didn't go to grad school.
Okay.
For situations like that, when you're not happy with your job and you want to move on, and then you have to go through the retread process all over again.
Yeah. Well, like I was explaining last night, in my case, I kind of fell into this job, and so it was a great opportunity while it lasted. But another thing I will say is that part of the reason that it's gone downhill is that, and I'm not blaming this on our new CEO, but I will say that since our new CEO went into office, I guess you could say about 3 years ago, since that time, everybody in senior management in my area is gone. They've either retired, one got fired. They're just not there. So it's not the same leadership, and there's a new tone, and I don't like it. So, yeah, anyway, hopefully, I might just go back to school anyways before that happens. I just got a thing in the mail today about it. So
yeah, as a sports fan, I know all too well about new management or new leadership totally disrupting the chemistry and culture of the working force.
Yeah, that's definitely what's happened. Now, I'm not saying it's all bad, but
it's just a disruption.
Yeah, and when you have all of your management team leave, yeah, things will change real fast.
Yeah, so I gained another 9 subscribers yesterday because the YouTube Shorts. No, sorry, another 9 subscribers today because the YouTube Shorts algorithm likes me again.
So what are you at now?
476, and I'm trying to see if I can get to 500 by doing these shorts because I just so badly want to build the castle 90th anniversary castle on camera.
Okay. So that's your plan when you get to 500?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my plan all along, and I'm just so desperate to build that castle that I want to do any means possible to get me to that milestone, even if it means cheating by acquiring a bunch of empty calorie subscribers, i.e. people that only watch YouTube shorts and not actual real proper distinguished YouTubers.
You know, I've heard that there's a lot of people that do that. They just like the 1 minute shorts.
Yeah,
and
because those people are the cheap, lazy people of generations Y and Z who prefer TikTok over YouTube because their attention span is broken. That's why it's those types of people.
Well, you know, I think you're onto something there because, you know, I'm almost 50. I'm not quite, but I'm almost there. And I actually enjoy longer videos. Like,
Yeah.
there's this one channel I watch. It's called Living in a Ghost Town. And it's literally that. It's a guy who bought a ghost town in California and he's trying to restore it.
Yeah.
And it's just the coolest channel. And his videos are often 40 minutes to an hour. And I'll tell you what, I just play a video and I don't necessarily sit in front of there and watch it, but I'll listen to the whole thing. And I enjoy having it and stuff like that. But you're right. My kids, forget about it. It's got to be 45 seconds or less.
Yeah, because I can definitely consume long form content, even if it means me putting it up on my Chromecast and playing Forge of Empires in the background, because sometimes you don't always have to look at the video. Sometimes you can listen to the video and know exactly what they're showing on camera.
I agree.
And it's called multitasking. A lot of, I'd say probably 80% of the world does not have the brain capacity to multitask, but I do.
Well, I love multitasking. In fact, sometimes that's the only way I get stuff done is by multitasking.
And also, there's a very rare breed of people who actually perform better in the clutch. I perform better in the clutch because if I've got a month to do a project, I'll wait for the last 10 days or something, and then I'll just go full throttle and go boom 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 boom.
Yeah, there was this theory about that. It was like the time. Oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, there's a theory based on that whole entire thing you just said, that basically the amount of time that it takes to complete a task will expand to the point of the time that's available. So yeah.
Because theories like that just remind me of when people say the universe is constantly expanding, but what is it expanding into?
I don't know. I will tell you though, space is one of my favorite subjects. Back when the Mars rover was newer, I can't remember which rover it was, but they had the daily pictures that NASA was putting out. And I admit, I used to go on there and I used to watch some of those pictures just for the heck of it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. See when it comes to stuff like that, I know I'm being totally hypocritical when I do so, but I just can't help thinking to myself when people get all excited about that stuff. I just can't help thinking, what a bunch of nerds. I know that's super hypocritical of me, but subconsciously I just want to say, what a bunch of nerds. Even though I am a nerd
Well,
in
mi-
other in for other things.
yeah. Well, you can ask Mrs. Chip. She calls me a nerd all the time. So, um, and I wear that proudly. So, I do find stuff like that very interesting. Looks like we get bag 43s now where I'm at.
Yeah.
No, making
So
some nice.
just to ask a question, what state were you originally from?
That's a really hard question for me to answer because my dad was in the military. I was born in California, so if I had to claim a state, I'll say California. But
Okay, so uh, California, here we come, right back where we started from, Hotel California.
yes, yes, California is a very beautiful state in that um, there's so much to do. Like where I lived at as a teenager, it was in the San Jose area, and we were about 40 minutes from the beach, the ocean, but yet we were 30 minutes away from water skiing because there's plenty of lakes. And then during the winter time, we were about 2 hours from snow skiing. So, I mean, if you were bored in that area, you were doing something wrong. Oh, Mrs. Chip says she does call me a nerd, and she says she's a nerd as well. And I will agree. She is pretty nerdy, but I'm going to embarrass her here on purpose. But she's like that the girls in the movie where they look all nerdy and stuff, and then all of a sudden there's a party and they let their hair down. They're really hot. That's Miss Chip.
Yeah, so another quick question is, did you spend the bulk of your childhood in California, or did you keep on moving state to state?
Well, I got really fortunate. See, I'm the fourth out of five children, and so by the time I entered the scene of my family, my dad retired when I was 9, and his last duty station was California. And so my dad didn't want to move the kids again, so they stayed in California until actually after I got married. And so I went I would say the majority of my time I spent in California.
Yeah.
But then again, I married Mrs. Chip, who's in the military, and we've lived in Ohio, we've lived in Germany, Kentucky, Maryland, DC, and Utah, and now Idaho. So we've been around quite a few places, really.
Yeah, and the reason I ask all those questions is because what I like to do, and what I'll do right now, is whenever I'm on someone's live stream, I make an Instagram story, saying, "Hey, I'm on so and so's, hey, I'm on I'm on this person's channel. Why don't you come and watch it? We need more people watching." And so that's just, and I really think that should be the new customary thing to do when people come onto someone's panel, is they should, if they are on Instagram, right after they come on to the panel, they should write an Instagram story with the watch link,
Okay.
with atting the person who they're on, to help their followers start to follow the person who they're being a guest on and subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's just something I like to do as keeping up with the brotherhood that is the Lego community. And so I always like to find songs that go with different people. So I recently found a song, a song with the word maniac in it that wasn't um a Manic Monday by the Bangles.
Oh,
And so I and so now I have a go-to song for Wick Maniac 81. And considering you spent your childhood for the most part in California, I'm gonna see if I can get Hotel California to work.
well, I will tell you that my daughter Natalie, she was probably about 12, and it was when I first got her first cell phone. She made my ringtone the song "White and Nerdy" by Weird Al, and I found out because one time she couldn't find her phone, and she came up to me all embarrassed, and she's like, "Dad, I need you to call my phone. I can't find it." And so I called it, and I heard the ringtone "White and Nerdy," and I was like, "Oh, thanks." But love my daughter Natalie. She's actually the mother of both my grandchildren. So
No, bye bye. Well, if Bye Bye Nerdy is a song, I guess that's I guess that's where they got the name for a Simpsons episode.
oh, you know something? I remember when The Simpsons first came out. I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah, and please don't tell me you're one of those people. Uh, please don't tell me you're one of those people that say, "I only watched the Tracy Ullman show."
No, actually, I didn't even know what that was. So no.
Oh, good. Because you've got a really tight ass on your hand that says, I don't watch The Simpsons, but I watch the Tracy Ullman show instead.
Yeah. Well, I watch shows that these days wouldn't even be allowed on TV. Like I
Like
doubt In Living Color.
like Married with Children, that was the Fox Network's first standout show.
That show was awesome. Um, I love Al Bundy's insults. One of my favorite ones was he worked at the shoe salesman, and this big lady comes in and he made a comment to her, and she said, "Well, how about you say that to my face?" And he's like, "I would, but my car only has a half a tank of gas." So, yeah, you can't say stuff like that on TV these days. But
No, because the woke mob will try to get you cancelled.
yeah, which means I probably should be careful what I'm saying here. But I did like his insults. Like when this lady said she was saying that he was being bad, and that Santa was going to give him a lump of coal for Christmas in his stocking, and he says, "Well, I hope Santa leaves you slim fast in yours." Yeah, he was awful, but I loved his stuff though. And oh yeah, when his wife Peg says, "Al, did you miss me?" He goes, "Every time I shoot."
Yeah, and I think unfortunately Married with Children has become underrated over time, because at the same time over on NBC they were pumping out the greatest sitcom of all time in Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld. Now I own all 9 seasons on DVD, and me and my daughter Amanda have watched it together several times. In fact, I got really lucky. My wife and I, we were out shopping one day, and there was art gallery that was going out of business, and this art gallery. They had the Kramer painting like for 25% of this original cost because they're just trying to get money because they're going out of business. And it's a huge portrait. It's like probably about 3 foot tall, maybe 2 foot wide. And I bought it for my daughter because she liked Kramer so much. So, I should get her to come on here.
And was her apartment like Kramer's with all the different levels?
No, but I know that episode about all the levels.
Yeah,
that's pretty good, man.
Yeah, because I've binge watched I believe I've binge watched every season of that show except for season 2. Much like weirdly, I've binge watched every episode of Sex and the City except for season 1.
Now that's a good show too. And Greg asked about the '70s show, and
I've binge watched that that whole series. It's so good.
I love how Red hates people, and he's always talking about putting his boot up somebody's behind.
Yeah, and I just love that it's that 70s, or that it's that 70s show, and it's filmed from 1998 to 2005, and it was in a time where where the consensus of the American population still believed in the propaganda that marijuana is bad.
Yeah.
But it's 1998 to 2005, and by then people had woken up to that stuff.
You're right. You're right about that. And that is I like the fact that how almost all of the actors from that show went on to do bigger and better things.
Yeah, because that show literally launched, and it literally launched it literally either launched or prolonged the career of every actor and actress that was on that show, and not many TV shows can say that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I like how I don't remember her name, but she was on Orange Is the New Black, and then how Eric he became what was that Venom in one of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, because after that, I forget the actor's name that played Eric, but he was in a couple different kind of indie hit movies after that. Yeah,
he was. And then was it Kelso?
Yeah.
He was in several movies actually.
Yeah. And he went on to be actors in other sitcoms.
Yes. And then Fez, I saw him in a couple different things too.
Didn't he go on to be one of the hosts for a brief while of America's Funniest Home Videos?
I don't really watch that show, so I don't know.
Yeah, because I believe now the current host is the supporting actor from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I remember that show. Will Smith when he was a teenager.
Yeah, and when he was likable. And still my favorite quote from that series is when they're going on a hiking trip in the hills of Bel-Air, and they say got to locate these arches or something on the map, and then Will Smith's character says those arches better be golden.
Yeah. So, you mind me asking some questions about the area that you're in?
Yeah, sure.
So, I watched a few videos, and again, I don't know exactly where you're at in Australia, but I've heard that in certain areas of Australia, you guys have a problem with crocodiles.
Yeah,
Um,
that's in the northern. That's in the north. That's really exclusively to the Northern Territory and far north Queensland. That's within. That's within the tropics, and that's where you see all of the billabongs. And I believe a billabong is the Aboriginal name for spring.
okay.
Yeah, just like how for some of you train nerds out there, and I'm one of y'all might know that Australia has the longest stretch of has the longest stretch of straight track in the world, which is 400. I believe it's 463 kilometers, which is I believe is 310 something miles.
Okay.
And the reason, and it's in an area called the Nullarbor Plain, and Nullarbor is an Aboriginal name for no trees.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, there's a lot of those Aboriginal names that are now on the official map, but the billabongs in the Northern Territory and far north Queensland is probably most likely where all of the scenes where Crocodile Dundee was filmed.
Oh, okay.
and and the reason why Americans in particularly get they get the wrong impression about Australia is because of how effective the Tourism Australia marketing campaigns were back in the 80s, marketing specifically towards Generation X with their use of Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan, getting those Crocodile Dundee North Queensland stereotypes and the all memorable catchphrases that converted Australian terminology to American terminology to specifically target the American market youth at the time.
Okay.
And they have not really been able to execute a tourism campaign greater than that. Probably their best one since is when I think it was for Super Bowl 49. They they made what looked like a trailer to a new Marvel movie starring the Hemsworth brothers, but all of a sudden it goes from what looks like a trailer to a Marvel movie into a tourism campaign, which was just really clever and relatable because
Okay.
it drew you in. Because I'm not sure if anyone else pitches the same, but in my opinion, Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh
Tony
yeah.
Stark, and the Hemsworth brothers, in my opinion, are the face of Marvel.
Yeah. Well, the reason I brought up the crocodiles is that I was watching a true crime show, and it wasn't really a crime. It was actually some youth who were, I don't remember the area they were in, but they were in the water and a crocodile ate like one of their friends, and then like they were up in a tree for a couple days before they were rescued, and the crocodile just stayed there. He would not leave. He was like hunting them.
Yeah.
And I thought that story was really, I mean, I'll be honest, man, I would have crapped my pants.
Yeah, well, some of those bushlanders are pretty fearsome. When there was that one video that circulated in the middle of this year of someone escaping a crocodile by I believe he knocked it unconscious with a frying pan.
Oh, wow.
And so he was able to escape. It's kind of like when Floridians in the Everglades use random utensils to stave off an alligator.
Well, I don't know if you know this about Florida, but my friend John, well, first of all, John, who just came on here. Hi, John. He lives in Florida, but Florida has this stereotype here in the States for having the weirdest things happen, like in crime and stuff.
Yeah, I know all too well about that stereotype because of how slow the national media is in a lot of smaller countries. So whenever they need to film in time on a slow news day, there must be some guy in the boardroom at the TV studio saying, "Hey, this is a slow news day. Let's find some weird shit going on in America."
I wouldn't be surprised.
And I just don't. And what honestly jerks me off is that they increase the runtime of the news, but they don't have anything worthy to fill it that's relevant to this country. Because if countries around the world are going to look to the American media to help fill in their country's national media runtime, actually find stuff that is relevant to your country's economy, and not just find weird, stupid shit that goes on in Florida or Texas.
Well, you're right. Texas is also known for their weirdness.
That's why a lot of political comedians, with their late night shows, have made segments with such titles as "Things They Say in Texas."
Well, I've got a book. See, I lived in Kentucky for a while. Kentucky's known for being quite redneck. And there was this book I bought while I lived in Kentucky called How to Speak Southern. And then I bought the other book called How to Speak Southern too.
Yeah.
And it was just really funny because they use expressions that they use there and tell you the meanings in a funny way, like the one bless his heart. And they said translates to this guy's really stupid.
Yeah. I wonder if Brian Kelly read those books when he quit his post as the head coach of Notre Dame in college football and took the lucrative job offer to be the head coach of Louisiana State.
Well, Greg made a reference. It reminds me of this jackass stunt Cajun obstacle course. I didn't see that one, but I know Greg has been watching those shows.
Yeah,
I think.
And I just want to make a disclaimer. I do not have a negative opinion about Florida or Texas. It's just that the weird stuff that goes on in their states are amplified really in the world media because of how
Yeah.
big those states are and the sheer amount of population within those states. Because if some kind of weird shit was to happen in something like Vermont or New Hampshire or one of those other small states in the um Atlantic Northeast or the Rocky Mountain Northwest, no one would care as much.
All right. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us. I'm on here with Mayo Hosco. He's got his own channel. He's in Australia. I met Mayo probably, I'd say, a little less than a year ago.
Yeah, in this year's Butt Chop 2021 72-hour live stream.
Yeah. So Joe and Brad here. Brad is part of the same lug that I'm a part of. Joe, I'm not sure if you are though.
Yeah, I'm in U-Lug and Nutlug, and
Okay.
so mostly with the
Well, cool.
great part. It's called in Ely, Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
All right.
anyway, there's the show Bristlecone. That's what it is. Yeah, Bristlecone show mostly is what I do with Nutlug over there. Just stuff that we go to, saying hi and whatnot.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about yourselves. Like I know you guys started your channel, what, about 2-3 months ago?
Something like that, yeah. So I kind of just started doing one or two things. So that I had people asking about my bridge. I do a removable bridge.
Oh, it's still with Nutlug right now, huh?
It is. Nutlug still has it right now. And I've had lots of people ask about how to build and stuff. So I started 2-3 episodes with that. And then I got with Joe here. He's the technical filming guy. So he does all the other stuff. So then we started to just play around and started just doing stuff. So trying to get some subscribers and people that want to watch us, follow us, what we're doing. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I did put a link to your channel in the description.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I hope people see that and they'll subscribe. And I can tell you guys, I was at the latest show at the Children's Museum, and I got to see your bridge up close and personal. It is an awesome idea.
Thank you.
I will say we had a little bit of a mishap where I won't mention his name. I know you know who he is, but he removed the bridge and forgot to put it back. And the front runner train ended up on the floor in many pieces.
Oh no!
So
Now, if someone would have filmed that, that would have at least got 1,000 hits on YouTube in an hour. So,
yeah, it is too bad we didn't think ahead to film that. But no, I like your bridge. I think it's a great idea. And is that something that you came up with on your own, or?
Yeah, it was. I've been to tons and tons of shows in the last couple of years, and it just got to the point where I got tired of crawling down on the ground, and everybody's trying to make bridges that lift up or this or that, and I wanted something simple, easy to get in and out. So I just took started building around. I knew the size I wanted, on the expansion, and just went ahead and modified a couple tracks and just made it work. So it turned out good. And since then, I've had a ton of people, especially Nutlug. They borrow it all the time. But U-Lug does too, here and there. So it's a crowd favorite, believe it or not. I actually get quite a few questions at shows like conventions and stuff. I take it there. I actually get questions just about the bridge. So kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool, and I think that's a great idea that you came up with there. And so, are you guys from the Utah area originally, or?
Yeah, I grew up here in the valley and did plenty of years away doing other stuff and whatnot. But yeah, I'm from Utah.
Okay.
And I was born up in Idaho, but that only lasted about 5 years, and I've been here ever since. So that's the story on me down here in Salt Lake. And yeah,
Okay. Well, I currently live in Idaho. When I joined Nutlog, I lived in Layton, which you guys know where that's at.
yeah,
But I have since moved to Idaho because I've always wanted a place that had some land. And
Yep.
this particular property that I bought, it has a 2,400 square foot shop, an outbuilding. And that is where the majority of my Legos are at. So
I was
that's
talking about that the other day. We needed to move into like an old abandoned Kmart or something. Have enough space.
yeah, you really do. It's did you guys have you guys been collecting Legos for all your life, or?
You know, I'm typical of the dark ages of
yep,
teenager stuff and whatnot. So it's my dad actually built in the house that I grew up in, kind of like some attic space. Built us a ladder up into it, and that was a dedicated Lego room. I grew up with that.
nice. And I had my dark ages until, well, I got into it when I was a kid, obviously. Then that's actually Legos how I actually got a scholarship to go to college in Ogden, and
Okay.
from there I got into my dark ages until about 2014, 2015 came out, and then that's when I started doing cranes, started building cranes, Lego cranes.
Okay.
And
So wait, your scholarship led to your dark ages?
yes, the scholarship got me into college, which got me busy and got me with my ex-wife. That got into the dark. So,
Okay.
and yeah, now I'm back into building and trying to just keep building that.
Yeah. So your channel, you guys, what do you guys mostly focus on? Like, what kind of videos do you do, or what theme? Obviously, trains and cranes, right?
Yeah, trying to, and anything else that people are interested in. Yeah, I'm currently cleaning Legos because we actually did a video last night.
Okay.
Out in the snow, so we had a plow train out there going. So that's currently what I'm doing over here in the corner, cleaning Legos.
Okay.
A lot of train stuff.
Yeah, right now we've mostly done train stuff, but it's definitely up for anything.
More crane stuff coming.
Yeah, we haven't done train stuff yet, but and then Joe, we need to get Joe to build some stuff too.
So are you guys the ones that built that big red crane that I saw in Evanston a couple years ago?
That would be me.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah. So, my dad, he is part of the NMRA, the National Model Railroad Association, and I used to volunteer for his group. And when I went to the Children's Museum last year, I happened to see Nutlug sitting there, and I didn't know who they were, so I went over and talked to him, and I found out who they were, and I said, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool." So I joined them. I've been doing my YouTube channel for about 2 years, so I was doing that prior. But yeah, when I met that group, I decided to join, and I feel like that was a really good decision. They're a bunch of good people, and they're fun to be around.
So that was when you were back in Utah, wasn't it?
Yes.
So even though you're in Idaho, you're still a member of a Utah-based log.
Yeah, I'm just barely now. Brad and Joe, you might appreciate this. I'm just barely into Idaho. I'm in Malad.
Yep.
So yeah, even though I moved from Layton, Mayo, I'm only about an hour away, and so going to club meetings and going to shows is not hard to do because I'm not that far.
Oh, okay. Does Utah and Idaho share a state
Yeah.
line?
They do.
Yeah, because I was thinking Idaho was one state over or something, but actually that makes more sense.
Yeah. So
iLug at all?
I'm sorry.
Do you get to jump up with iLug? Or have you kind of branched out that direction also?
I just joined iLug about 2 months ago. They are not as active on the shows as Nutlug is. So, but I've been thinking about joining some of their shows just because I enjoy it. And of course, the shows will be about the same distance. Some of them. Well, Boise's not. Boise's like 3 hours away from me, but
And Boise has a respectable college football team.
So yeah, they it's good all the way around, and you know, Jim and Tammy, you know, I like joking around with them. They're a good couple to hang out with. So, and you guys know Leanne.
Yep.
So, and then there's Bill and Lori. I'm trying to think who else. Brent. And Rich.
Yep.
So
We know all those guys. So they started off. They actually started off with ULUG, and then decided to branch off and make their own.
So, according to Jeff, you guys really like trains and cranes.
Trains and cranes.
Trains and cranes, yeah.
Because if so, that sounds like, particularly the train part, something that sounds right up my alley. So let me go to the description and go to the link for your channel and explore it a little bit.
Okay.
and also Mayo, you might want to reach out to them because Mayo he does his live streams at 7:00 our time on Friday nights, and this is his train month, and that's all he's building the whole month is trains.
Oh, good.
So if you guys have the time, I'm sure he'd love to have you on there.
Yeah, Mayo, you may be able to chip in there for John in the chat there. He's asking about a good Christmas tree train, and you know that as far as
Yeah, even though I'm a train fan, I do not collect the Christmas themed trains because I think it's a marketing gimmick, and a lot of the Christmas trains they do are actually micro scale.
yeah. Although this year they did come out with the tram, and you can find reviews of those all over the place. But it is a nice little standalone tram that you can add power up functions to.
Yeah.
You didn't want something full size and maybe just a small loop that could work out pretty
Yeah,
quick.
I never bought the Winter Village train because I thought it was a bad set. And a lot of the other hardcore train fans I know had a similar opinion.
Yeah, we get a little bit of that dynamic here. Brad does a lot more of the 8-1 train. I do a lot more of the 6-1.
Is this the one you're talking about there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Winter Village train set with the actual steam locomotive from 2016. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's not even a train that a tram.
Yeah, something that could just be simple. I mean, it's $90 I think for that set retail. So if you're looking for something just to have to go around the tree, that tram you know, could scratch that itch of something to go around the tree.
Yeah, it's fairly inexpensive as far as Legos is concerned. It's $100 set, so and getting the power functions to it, you're probably looking at probably another $40-$50. But yeah, it's a decent set to convert to something like that. And John was talking about here how his late father and I were huge O scale collectors. Yeah, my dad, he collected HO scale. He still does. So yeah. Anyways, I grew up around trains, and I think they're really cool. In fact, tell you, my dad would probably cry if he heard the story, but because of the bad memories. But when we lived in California, he had a train table that he never really got to, and so he built it and he put just a little bit of track down, and then he kind of left it alone for a while. And then when I got big into building cities, I asked my dad if I could build my city on top of his train table, and I did for years. And I remember the day that he's like, "Sorry to do this, son, but I'm taking this back," and I almost cried because I was like, "Man, there goes my spot." But yeah, I've liked trains. I've done the plaster tunnels and all that stuff with my dad, and I've got about 30 Lego trains currently. I've always wanted to. The one that got away from me, I had the Emerald Knight, but I would like to do more cars, but the cost of that tan window is just way too much for me to be able to justify doing that.
That's why that's one of the pieces that you've got to find an alternate piece that's more cheaper.
Yeah.
And going back to the tram from the new Winter Village Main Street. It seems like every set is being called Main Street these days. That's a meme. Is that the only reason you should motorize it is if you're going to have it on a permanent layout and you're actually going to use it on a designated tramway or as a trolley streetcar system if you have the tracks built into a mill's road. It honestly really jerks me off when I see people motorizing Lego trams and putting it on a generic railway. A tram would not run on a generic railway. There is a specific difference between a railway and a tramway. A tramway doesn't have to be built on ballast. Tramways don't require grade level crossings. That's the reason old steam trams required cow catchers.
Yeah.
And so it just always makes me laugh when people motorize their trams and put it on their railway. It just looks so out of place because it's clearly not a railway train, it's a tramway tram.
Yeah. In my city mock that I had going on before I moved, I had a light rail tram that was built into the street.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I hope to be able to rebuild my city, but when I don't know, this move's been very taxing on me as far as getting back to normal. So, and what are you working on there? Is that the Mazurk train?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop you right there. It's really difficult to pronounce if you've never heard executives from the company say it themselves, but it's actually pronounced Maersk.
Maersk. Okay.
I believe in the Dutch language for a lot of words, the I sound will, when instead of putting an I next to next to other letters like A or O, for example, they'll put an E instead.
Okay.
That's my theory about what I've seen from the Dutch language, because some people might know that the biggest Lego convention in the Netherlands is Scarebake, and the air in scare is spelt AER.
Well, John says, I want to see an underground subway that works. And John, stay tuned because I'm going to do that. I did build the subway at my last city, but I did not have it motorized. But I'm going to do that, definitely.
Yeah. So speaking of that, when is the next city update due to come out?
Probably in the spring, because up here it's been in the 20s, and that shop is not heated. So even with 2 large space heaters going, I can only get it up to about 45 degrees. It's still very cold out there.
Yeah. So in terms of actually building stuff for the city, you can really only do it in the spring and the fall.
Correct for right now, but
because in terms of Idaho weather, it's way too hot in summer and it's way too cold in winter.
Well, I don't mind the heat. I'll do it out there in the heat. But I do have in the works to get heating and air conditioning out there. And once that happens, it's going to become a year-round endeavor.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe you might be able to hook up a solar panel for the air conditioner, so that you can get some good climate control in there during the summer.
Actually, I've been looking at a system. It's about 3,500, but it has enough to run something like that. But if you guys, Joe, tell us where can we find you guys?
So we've got the Train Guy channel, and we've got Trekkie Bricks. So those 2 channels, we're just on YouTube, and that's trying to get videos out once a week. So that's what we're working on, is mostly Crane & Train channel at this point, doing a lot of dedicated efforts into that.
Yeah.
So it's pumping out some content. That's where we're at.
Yeah. And I just looked at your channel about 5 minutes ago, and it looked like you had a video to do with the L gauge standard and an R120 curve.
Yeah, the R120. So it's still, I guess, L gauge is what they informally call it, right? For Lego gauge. But yeah, it's Lego, and it's not the radius curve that's out there, but it's one of the standard ones that a lot of groups will use at train shows as the outside corner of their modules. So it's a nice big swooping curve to allow a lot longer of cars to traverse. Like this one. Make sure I say it right. Mayor? Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Amazed.
To chip in a little bit of how well this works on those bigger curves and whatnot, and this is not the kit one either, though.
No, this is my own mock here.
Okay.
That's the big boy version of it. So I just scaled it up, basically, made my own stuff to it. It's got the 2 motors in the ends, it's got lights, all the functions like that. And I'm just getting all the water and dirt off of it. Putting all the pieces back off from last month's video.
So that,
And
that's
have
the
you
one- Go ahead.
and have you already made videos about that, or are you planning on making videos about that stuff?
So we've made videos. Well, I've showed off one of my trains in videos. I've got stuff in the back here behind me. Got a whole bunch of rail cars, rolling stock stuff that we've done videos on to show them. We did do a series.
Nothing dedicated on this one.
Yeah, nothing dedicated on this one, but we did a series on making this little shunter car right here. And we went through and did the whole how to get the scaling properly done, how
Okay.
to do what motors to use, what I like to use anyway. We went over how to get the lighting, how to put the lighting in it, how to make all the covers, things like that. And it's just like a generic to go over other trains. So it's just a good little small train to start with. But that one ran 4 or 5 different little episodes on how to do it. Yeah, something like that. So we've had comments on people want to see us make a steam locomotive.
Yeah, there's a massive market for that, because nowadays any trained person can make a mock of a diesel.
Yeah.
But you're a next level train builder when you know how to make steam engines properly.
Yeah. So I've got a big boy that I made. So we got that as a steam locomotive. So I've had a couple people ask to do a steam locomotive, so we might do one of those, start to finish.
The good old Union Pacific.
Yes. I try to. I know this is really bad to say, and I'll probably offend a few listeners.
Rip the band-aid off.
Yes.
Make it happen.
So I try and stay away from the steam locomotives. The reason why is because I had to deal with other people from other lugs. I won't say where, but back east. And they're just jerks about it. What I mean by that is, so to me, a train is a train. You know, as long as it looks like a train, anybody can identify with it. And when I go to a show, any expo, whatever, and I run my trains, people love them. But these true experts that think they know it all, which they probably do, you know, they're like, well, your horn's in the wrong spot.
Oh,
You know?
those kind of technical people.
Handrail's just not bent right. You know, it's like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen those people in the forums of all sorts of different train related websites.
yeah. So I mean, if I build a steam locomotive, I'll build it where it represents one type of, like for instance the big boy. So I'll build it so that way it looks like a big boy, but I might change 1 or 2 little things on it.
Yeah.
The amount of crap that they'll just dish out and stuff, I'm not interested. So if I do another one, it might be a Challenger, it might be the I think it's called a polygamy, or I don't know. Anyway, the big steam locomotive. But you know, if I get one pipe out of basement or something like that, you'll never hear the end of it. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of like whatever.
yeah.
Just because
And I'm the type of train builder where when I build a train, it's not going to look like a Bachmann Spectrum locomotive. It's going to look like a Hornby Railroad locomotive. Because if anyone knows the difference between, if anyone knows, Hornby Railroad are the basic level model trains that Hornby makes, and Bachmann Spectrum are the high end trains that Bachmann make.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know, my dad, being that he's in the model railroading, he calls those kind of people rivet counters.
Yes,
Yeah.
because if you are interested in model trains, definitely go subscribe to a channel called Sam's Trains. He's got a little over 125,000, and he used to make fun of the rivet counters, particularly when he was reviewing Hornby Great Western Railway locomotives.
Yeah. Well, guys, I finished bag 47, and I'm going to wrap it up here. But
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to all of you that showed up. And I also want to remind everyone that if Mayo gets up to 600 subscribers by the end of January, I am going to build a mock of the Daily Bugle using 8 Daily Bugles. And I've got them right. I wish I could turn this around, but if I do, I'm going to disconnect the internet on my laptop. But it's right behind the lid. I've got them all. I'm going to do a short here real soon just to show my receipts that I have them. But we're going to do it. And he's been doing really well. He's gained, 25 subscribers since the challenge went out a couple days ago?
Yeah, because I have made shorts that have been successful.
Yeah, he's really trying hard to get there. So wish him the best of luck. And if he gets it, that's what we're going to do. And hopefully we can stay in contact, guys, and we could do something again in the future. And are you guys going to Thanksgiving Point?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
My schedule's very, very busy.
Okay. Well, I'll be there, so I'll be able to meet you in person. So, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And if everyone's still going to be awake within the next hour, I'm going to be going live on the Brick Maniac 8081 channel.
Okay.
If anyone follows at @Will_Mayo Hosco on Instagram, you'll see in my Instagram stories that I put out a watch link for that.
Okay, you want to throw that in the chat for everybody, and that way
yeah. Well, unfortunately, I'm doing something on Forge of Empires right now, so so I'll just tell people to go onto Instagram and search for @Will_Mayo Hosco. It's pretty simple from there.
All right. Well, guys, have a great night, and we'll catch you guys some other time.
Okay.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.